mean, aside from having to talk to me, how is your day going so far?
Well, the day is going great. You know, the sun came up and it's blue skies and the birds are singing here in Hawaii like it is every single day. And so it's good.
I've spoken with a lot of food professionals before, but none that were a marine biologist first. I'm correct about that. Yes?
That's right. Yep, that's right. That's how I started my career. I started, this fascination with the love of fish. And I went to school and I studied fish and I just wanted to be with fish and do fish. And yeah, that was my first passion was actually research, fish science, understanding fish. So yep, I studied fish in college and I worked for the government and the state of California as a marine biologist.
Now, at what point did this go from being a great idea to an actual viable growing business? In other words, at what point did you feel, hey, Honolulu Fish Company, this is a thing, this is not a side hustle, this is it, this is life?
I gotta tell you, there's this moment when I started business as like a broker. I was just selling to wholesalers and kind of, I knew where fish was, I knew people wanted it. And then I had the idea, what if we sold directly to a chef? What if we just sold direct to the chef, right? Instead of going to the middleman. Mm-hmm. And we just tried it. And that chef, that first experience, that chef was like, whoa, I've never seen anything like this before. And he was blown away and we were like, whoa. So we did it again. We tried it again with another chef. And that chef was like, whoa, what is this? I've never seen this before. And at that moment, like those two times, was like, okay, there's something here. This is like, okay, we got something. So that was kind of like that. That was sort of like that bright light, that moment, that thing, that idea we had. People, we're going to work. People liked it a lot.
So there's both the Honolulu Fish Company and the Honolulu Fish Market. So how do you divide your time between the two right there? Because, hey, founder, CEO, that's a lot going on.
Yeah, Honolulu Fish Market is designed for the chef. Majority of our business really is directly to the restaurant chef all across the country. And Honolulu Fish is to the consumers, right to the home, right to somebody's household, right to the home chef. So the home market is really for the chef and then to the people. Basically, both of them are selling to passion. Like the chef has a passion, he wants something fantastic, and people that love this stuff, they want to be connected. We're selling both passion. So we just shift from, talking to the person in their home who wants to have a great dinner, wants to have a meal, they're doing something, a big party, something like that. And then talk to the chef who wants to do something fantastic for his restaurant, for his customers. They're both passionate about what they want, and that's what we do. So the core of it's always the passion for that really great ingredient. So it does fit both. Two different price points, two different services at that point, but it starts with that sort of passion for that thing that they want.
Every now and then I meet somebody who just doesn't eat fish. Is there a gateway fish for you from your product line that you go, if you get into this, then you're good for fish?
I'll tell you, just come across this my whole life. People say that I don't eat fish. Almost everyone in the world eats tuna fish sandwich, but they don't think it's fish, right? Tuna fish salad in 2 pieces of bread. Most people don't consider that fish. They consider it this thing. And as long as you make it, you put it in a sandwich, I'll have that, but they don't consider that fish. So that's sort of like my gateway is like, hey, we've got this actually is freshly off the boat fish. You cook it, turn it into a salad. And believe it or not, that's sort of like the introduction that this fish is actually, that's that thing that you're used to eating. So it's kind of my introduction. Just, hey, a tuna fish sandwich, that's sort of, isn't that whatever we all were brought up to eat? We all eat that at one point or another.
Were you always a fan of sushi? For me personally, I didn't start eating sushi until college. And once I did, it's all sushi all the time if I can.
I'll tell you, starting in fish science and in research, I was dissecting fish, looking at the actually what fish ate, the contents of stomachs, looking at internals of fish. I was, knee deep cutting into fish. And at that moment, sashimi and sushi kind of came on to me at sort of like midway, like, looking at the texture of this meat, looking at the fat content of fish. It sort of came on to me mid research career. I didn't, prior to that, it didn't really hit me, like something, but prior, as I kind of began, we were, doing research around big ships were out there catching fish for samples, and these live fresh would come on board, and they just seemed so fantastic. And you begin to look at them, from a physiological standpoint, looking at their physiology. I don't know, just something hit me about that fresh as opposed to being cooked. And it's two different things when you have any kind of fish, meat, and it's fresh, raw, and you cook it. It's two different things. When that hit me, that was kind of, ever since then, raw was always the more fantastic way of preparing something. When you take fish and you have raw fish, when you cook it, they all tend to sort of seem to merge together to the same flavor. But when it's raw, you can have 12 different distinct experiences. And it's just very, really, really diverse flavor profiles when they're raw.
Got it. But speaking of fresh and quality and all that, do I have it correct that somehow you're part of the James Beard Foundation's Smart Catch program? I say somehow because we as everyday consumers are used to hearing James Beard Foundation with regards to restaurants, not sold products.
Right. Well, so this is pre-pandemic. James Beard had, recognized that they need to be part of sustainability movement, and they wanted to connect with producers that were strongly associated with sustainability and management. And so we thought that was a great match, and we worked with James Beard Foundation as they launched this program. And we're contributing member, maybe a charter member of that program. And so and we've worked with James Beard quite a bit with our chefs and our restaurants. We, when a chef goes to James Beard, they always call Honolulu the fish company for their product for that particular show. So yeah, they're still part of it, and we're still doing it. It's more of like a credibility type of thing. It's people want to know, what is the right product? What is a good vendor? What is a good supplier? We're there. We like to participate in that.
The last two questions I have for you. The first one, Hawaiian roots, obviously, because of the name of the company, but you're actually there. It's not a symbolic thing. It's not like the California Pizza Kitchen where you're not eating California. It's actually fish from out there. When did you realize that it was possible to live in Hawaii? And I say that because for a lot of people here on the East Coast, it just seems like this pipe dream that's unattainable thing to live in Hawaii. It's just a place you go on vacation 2 or 3 times and that's it.
Well, my roots, I grew up in San Francisco, and growing up there, I thought it was the coldest place on earth. And I grew up, near the coast where it's foggy all the time. Yeah. Summertime was foggy and cold. And I used to dream of like, can't I get out of this? Can I be in a warm place? And so, and that's when I made my departure from research of biology. I just decided to move to a warm place and pursue my dream in some place where it's warm and the water's warm and you can enjoy it. And so I just made the move. I just left. I left a fantastic career and just did it, because I think from people growing up in the East Coast where it's cold, to me, San Francisco was very cold, but it's all relative. So yeah, I actually just made the move and made that change. It's that as a young man, did it and loved it ever since. I was born in California in the fog, but I think I'm a tropical boy. This climate matches me very well.
Cool. My last question or topic, putting you on the spot here. Lots of my favorite musicians have moved to Hawaii. For example, Todd Rundgren is there, Mick Fleetwood from Fleetwood Mac, Sammy Hagar's seen around all the time, Weird Al lives there a lot, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith, etc. what's the last concert that you went to out there? And it's okay if you're like, well, 3 years ago, because I mean, pandemic, but still.
The last concert I went to was UB40 came out here some time ago. And I thought that was just, it's Hawaii, it's Jamaica, it's reggae, it's like the Hawaiian music is this kind of genre out here. And UB40 came here. I thought that was like the most fantastic thing. It was pretty awesome. Now, and then there's a performer, Fiji. There's a performer called Fiji. He's a Hawaiian music performer, local performer. Maybe he's got some national following, international following, but went to a Fiji concert down here, and that was my favorite thing.
I've had the pleasure of interviewing Jimmy and Robin from UB40, having them on the show and all that. And something I can't figure out is how such beachy music comes from such cold England, basically, to put it nicely. Factory cold England. Any idea?
Yeah, because they all fantasizing about the wonderful life of the idea when you're in a cold place and you're thinking about a warm place, it's just wonderful, warm feelings and the fun and the party, and it's like all the things that come out. I think it's probably more, it's visually, it's just more attractive, more colorful when you're thinking about it. And you're some places 45 degrees, and thinking about some places 8 degrees and blue seas and tropical breezes and trees and birds and palm trees and all that.
Well said. Kind of like your journey from cold California to warm tropical Hawaii. Well,
exactly. That's what I think. When you're there in the cold, thinking about here in the tropics, the visuals are very colorful. That's what it comes from, I think.
Exactly. Well, hey, I love the products, love the story, the background that you have, and how you created a world doing well, a good doer kind of company with quality products that even James Beard Foundation gets. So keep up the greatness, and looking forward to whatever is next from you and team there, Wayne.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for talking to me this morning, and anytime we'd love to talk more about, what we're doing here.
Paltrocast.